Now, in our YouTube videos, and some of you may have seen in the things that led you to purchase this course, we talk about 4 emotions that create an amazing first impression. Those are fun, trust, respect, and then turning that spotlight that other person now feels for you back on to them. We're going to start with what I truly believe needs to come first and is probably the most important, which is fun. The mindset you need to have here is that almost all charismatic behavior and the way that people are responding to you comes down to the energy that you have. This is not woo-woo energy, can you touch their aura? This is how do you feel and how does your vibe, if you will, make them feel. There are people that I know that you've been around that just being near them makes you feel glum and sad because they are so down. Conversely, there's other people that you've been around that lift you up. You look at them and you can't help but smile. Their jokes aren't very funny, but because they are so into it, you have to just laugh with them. That is what I mean by energy. And when you're making a first impression, one of the most critical things that often gets left out because we're trying to be cool, because we're trying to be professional, is this ability to convey a vibe that makes people smile, that makes them feel good. And this is what I call being fun. In addition to having other people just feel good when they're around you, when you are fun, the rest of your life is better. When you feel happy, smiley, more likely to crack a joke, you're going to feel better. It makes you more self-focused. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. I mean, most people go through their lives worried, what does that person think of me? Did they laugh at that joke? Am I making a good impression right now? When your basis and you're coming from a place of having fun, you're less concerned with those things, which actually allows you to be more authentic. And that is why fun is so important. Now, there's a couple of qualities to this fun energy that I think are very important. First off, it's positive. That means that when things are things, right? There's the world that we live in. Some things we like, some things we don't like. This type of person tends to focus on what is good. And second, this person is light-hearted. Now, there are very many serious things, and this doesn't mean that the fun individual is incapable of being thoughtful or of being serious for a time or of respecting that in certain situations it's not always appropriate to crack a joke. But it does mean that this individual doesn't go through their life giving stock answers to questions. They crack jokes, they turn things. They'll maybe be at a work meeting where everyone is talking very, very solemnly for 45 minutes, even though they know each other well, and they will say something that lightens the mood, that makes everyone around them feel good. They don't necessarily be the clown, but they make the other people smile, they bring that into their life, and for that reason, they are extremely valued. I had a first-hand experience of watching the fun person and the not fun person and the different reactions they got just a few years ago. Now, this was when I was in Vegas and I was actually the unfun person. I knew better because at this time, I knew that people responded to your energy, but I also felt that I was supposed to be more professional. Charisma on Command was just taking off and I had gotten invited to this cool networking event in Las Vegas and I wanted to make a good impression, even though I knew better and I thought, okay, I've got to be cool. This wasn't a conscious thought, it just kind of occurred. And because I didn't want to go to this event alone, I invited my younger brother who had nothing to gain from this event. So we went to this event and I'm thinking and I'm, being very serious with people. I'm not being mean, I'm not smiling, but when I speak to them, I ask them what they do. They ask me what I do. I say, oh, very interesting. They say, oh, very interesting. We go our own ways. And that started to happen even as we were just in line to get into this event. And so we're filling out our name tags and I write Charlie and I stick it on. And then I hear my brother behind me, they say, what's your name? And he says, Dragon. And I'm like, what did you just say? And the woman who was filling out the name tags laughs and he writes Dragon and then like a little spiral on the end to look like a tail and puts it on his name tag. And at that moment, I was conflicted because part of me that was trying to be really cool and professional and network was like, don't do that, Henry. The other part of me knew better and was like, well, that was funny and we'll see how this goes. So we continued into the event and I watched the same thing play out. I walked up to an individual, we started talking. It wasn't a bad impression. We were just chatting about business. And then my brother stepped in and they said, what's your name? He pointed, he said, Dragon. And immediately they laughed. They wanted to know more about him. He wasn't immediately talking about his business. He was being playful about other things. But I found that despite the fact that I was the one that had this really cool business, and despite the fact that I was the one that was being more professional, he was the one that they wanted to speak with. Now, I am not saying that in every single corporate setting you should write dragon on your name tag. This was Las Vegas. It was a little bit more laid back. It was collared shirts and khakis as opposed to suit and ties. But the point is, every sort of scenario that you're in has a protocol of how people think they must behave. And what this is people pretending in some way to be automatons, pretending to be robots. There's a level above that, which is just a little bit more fun than most people are being. And I promise you, because no one is being it, people are craving that to happen. Fundamentally, we are people first. You take us out of that networking event, you take us out of the suit or the really nice business dress, all of a sudden we're laughing, we have families and kids. We enjoy that energy, though we sometimes fake that we don't in professional environments. If you can be one step more fun than the people around you, that is going to carry you so far towards intriguing someone, towards getting them interested in you, and now you can start to go for trust, respect, and all the rest. So you might be thinking, okay, but I would never think to write a weird name on a name tag, or I actually would think that, but only in a certain group, right? It's only when I'm drunk that I act like that, or it's only when I'm with my brother or this particular friend that I seem to have that sense of humor that just flows. What am I supposed to do? Well, there's really two answers. The first is to remove the blocks that are getting in your way. And the biggest block by far is mental. And it comes from this mindset that says, if I'm lighthearted, if I'm fun, if I'm goofy, people won't like or respect me. And this normally comes from some random incident that happened when we were little, where we learned that if we were to stand out in some way, that people wouldn't like us. And I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely crazy. Because especially as people get older, that aspect of us that is silly, childlike, becomes underappreciated, underdeveloped, and we crave it in other people. This is why adults go to comedy shows. They're begging for that in their lives. And we think, no, if I were to bring that, this person wouldn't like me. Actually, what will happen, and I can tell you this from my personal experience, is that you're going to, probably with 80 or 90% of the people, become like a magnet. And you're going to pull that 80 to 90% to you. And the 10 to 20% that don't like it, you will alienate yourself from them because they are downers. And it's going to be ultimately a good thing for you. The second piece is if you're like, okay, I can remove that mental block. What else do I do? It's going to be to condition yourself with things that make you laugh. So I have found personally that if I'm watching a movie, I should just watch a funny movie. I don't often do it. I'll sometimes watch, and sometimes, I mean, every time one comes out, I'll watch the Marvel movies. But if I have the option, why not watch something funny? Everything that comes into our brain, we are acting like a sponge for. So if you watch just a few funny movies when you're doing it, or if once a day prior to going to an event, this is what I used to do, I would look up clips from the movie Step Brothers. If you just look up a clip, a 3-minute YouTube clip that makes you laugh, that primes you to feel these feelings and to actually start copying the sensibilities and the sense of humor of the people that you are watching. Additionally, this means hang out with your friends that tell more jokes. That's going to go so far for you, and it's very, very simple to do. The last thing, which goes a long way and doesn't even require you to be funny, because remember, when I say fun, I'm not talking about ha-ha the whole time. I'm talking about making other people smile, is this. It's smiling. Whenever you meet a new person, smile at them. And I don't mean this. That is a fake smile. I mean, learn to tap into, and this is what we're going to be working on this week in the action guide, the part of yourself that is truly excited to be where you are. When I think of talking to you, I can smile. I go, yeah, this is really fun. Or I can think of how amazing my job is and that I get to do this and that you are learning the elements of being fun and charismatic. That's going to make my eyes light up. It's going to make sure that I don't have this really tight smile that looks like this. That is a fake smile. And we're going to cover that as we go into the action guide. But that's really it. Remove the blocks that are in your way mentally. That's that mindset. And then condition yourself. And we have one excellent conditioning tool in the action guide, which is what you are going to work on for today.